Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Aisha. Hopefully you're not new here, but if you're new here, thank you for clicking on this video. Last week, or I think it was a couple of days ago, I asked on my community thingy, which I now have, by the way, that which video would you like for last Saturday. The majority selected the food festival vlog, which I uploaded last week Saturday, and the second video, which was the second option, is the short story September recommendation, which is what I'm filming today. Hopefully you've been following me for a while and now you know that I love short story collections. Like, they're just the next best thing. Because it is September, we have something on Bookstagram called Short Story September, which basically means that we'll be reading short story collection throughout September. So in this video, I'll just be recommending some short story collections that I've enjoyed so far. I would also link some of the videos that I've done previously where I mentioned and recommended some short story collections that I think you would like, because I don't want to repeat myself. So the first on that list is Cursed Bunny by Barachang. I said I was not going to repeat myself, but I loved this book. I read it for Fem March, because March was Fem March and also Korean March, so I read Cursed Bunny in Fem March. Really enjoyed that short story collection. If you're looking for something new, exciting, a bit horror-ish, and a little bit of like realism as well, then definitely pick up Barachang's Cursed Bunny. And most of the stories have a folklore feel to them, like your grandma telling you stories, but like creepy stories. Next book I'll be recommending is a book that I actually just finished. It's the only book I've read in September so far, because life has been lifing. But yeah, it's a short story collection called Better Never Than Late by Chika Onigwe. So Chika Onigwe is a Nigerian-Belgian writer. She wrote a book a while back called On Black Sister Street, and I've always known about that book, but I just did not feel any pull to it. A friend suggested that I start off with Better Never Than Late, and I really enjoyed it. Very easy to read, but you can tell that there's so many themes that she explores with the stories. So it's a collection of stories with characters that are Nigerian but living in Belgium. So it basically just put us through what it means. It basically just put us through what it means to live as an African Nigerian immigrant in Belgium, and there are lots of layers to it. One thing I love about most of the stories is that all of them sort of have a well wrapped up ending. So if you're the type of person that avoids short story collections because you don't like how abruptly they end, I think you would enjoy Chika Onigwe's Better Never Than Late, because most of the stories had a satisfying end. Like, you can go away from it saying, oh, okay, yeah, fine, I'm satisfied. Another short story collection that I've read this year, not this month, it is called The Accusation: Forbidden Stories from Inside North Korea by Bandi. This is a collection of short stories that were smuggled out of North Korea and were published in Korea and then translated for us. They must not find out who wrote those stories. We don't even know if they eventually found out, and we don't know who that person is. They might have killed them, we don't know. But yeah, these are nice stories that are built on the template of actual North Koreans, like people that are living in North Korea. The stories are built off of their experiences. So they were sold a particular dream and it was false, basically. So I really enjoyed that one. It was a very painful book as well. The next short story collection that I'll be recommending is one book that I read a while back. Like, I read this years ago. It's called Kabu by Nnedi Okorafor. I like this short story collection because it's very sci-fi-ish. Is it sci-fi or fantasy? I don't even know. If you know Nnedi Okorafor, she writes sci-fi kind of books. I believe this was her first book that I read. It was Kabu, and I really enjoyed it. If you're looking for something new, you don't want to just read literary fiction, you want to explore, you know, short stories but like with different themes, not something you're not used to, definitely try Kabu. I read it a while back, so I can't remember exactly what the stories entail, but I remember how they made me feel. One of the feelings I got was that achievement, that I tried something new and I really enjoyed it. So the next book I'll be sharing is All of the Names They Use for God by Anjali Sachdeva, if I'm not mistaken. So I read this book a while back again. I read it in like 2018. So one of the reasons why I picked up this book initially is because one of the stories was based on the girls that were kidnapped from Chibok by the Boko Haram terrorist group like years ago, like 2010 or something. I was naturally drawn to the story, you know, any story that is based off of those girls' experiences. I really can't remember all of the details naturally because I read this book years ago. I would recommend that you listen to the audiobook version of this book rather than actually just reading it, because there was a switch in the narration when it got to that last story about the girls that were kidnapped from Chibok in Nigeria, and I liked this switch. I like the narration style, so I really enjoyed this book as well. It was years back, but I would recommend it absolutely. Next book that I would recommend is What It Means When a Man Falls from the Sky by Leslie Ineka Arima. Also read this book in 2019. I had been putting off reading this book forever because it's also a debut collection. I enjoyed the creepiness of the stories. I love the undertone. You have like a lot of social commentary and women's experiences and like classism. It's just a lot of like social undertone, and some of the stories were set in Nigerian like society. I could naturally relate to those experiences. The stories in this book also give off that sci-fi energy. Reminds me of some of the stories from Kospani. I feel like most of short story collections that I'm recommending have a sci-fi creepy feel to them, but I really enjoy the stories because they go above and beyond. Like, these authors have gone outside of the scope of what we know as, you know, just stories, and they've given us something we can relate to. I really like that. Another short story collection that I recommend that also falls into the realm of the creepiness is Little Eyes by Samantha Schwablin. I believe that's her name. This was first book by Samantha that I read, and because I can't pronounce her surname, by the way. This was the first book by this author that I read, and I really enjoyed how creepy they were. They were genuinely unsettling. So all of the stories are set in different cities in the world. The titles of the stories are the names of those cities they were set in, basically. And all of the stories revolve around this creepy technological device, and it's called the Kentucky. And these Kentuckys have cameras in them, and like you go to the store, buy a Kentucky, there's somebody behind that camera, like there's somebody who is connected to that camera that can see you, and they direct the Kentucky. Very, very, very creepy stories, but like you actually enjoy it. So if that's your kind of thing, definitely recommend that collection. There is also another book that I recommend, which is called The Memoirs of a Lagos Wedding Planner. I cannot remember the name of the author now, but yeah, put it on the screen. This short story collection, very short story collection, is a collection of stories that are based on weddings set in Lagos, Nigeria. If you know Lagos, Nigeria, and you know weddings, especially Yoruba Nigerians who populate Lagos, then you know that this short story collection is very chaotic. There's a lot of drama in the very, very short stories that are written in this collection, and I really enjoyed it. I picked it up on impulse, and it turned out to be an enjoyable read. So if you're looking for something very light and hilarious, then try this one. Next book I'll be recommending is Windows by Jesutofumi Ipimoye. I really enjoyed this book. It contains 13 short stories, if I'm not mistaken, and this book is entirely set in Lagos, Nigeria. The major selling point for this collection for me is that each of the stories started off with these unnamed creatures that they're not God, but it looks like they have like an ethereal power. You know, when people are looking at, like when something is looking at people during their lives, and they're like, you're making the wrong decision, but there's nothing I can do, I'm not God, kind of thing. That's the catchy element of this book. The stories touch on different things: colorism in Nigeria, man-woman relationship, heterosexual relationship, love. Yes, there were some stories that touch on love, like how sad love can be for some people. I really enjoyed this story because it's very easy, simple writing style. The characters are very relatable. If you like African fiction, then you definitely enjoy this one. And if you're Nigerian, these are the type of books you should probably be reading to support more Nigerian authors. So I like the cover of the book. It's very, very innovative. The last book I'll be recommending is also one of my favorite short story collections, and it is called Head of Color. Is it Ed or Eds? Heads of Colored People, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, Heads of Colored People. That's the name of the book. By Nafisa Thompson Spiriton. I cannot remember her name, but Heads of Colored People. I love this book. easy, beautiful, easy to get into, captivating writing style. The writing style of this short story collection, see, from the first short story, which also happens to be the titular story of this collection, Heads of Colored People, you get sucked into the writing style of this author. That first short story sets the pace for every other story, because you would not see what is coming at the end of that short story collection. It's like when you think that a story is going in one direction and it just reverses and changes the direction, and you're like, what the hell just happened? So the major theme that was explored in this collection is racism and what it means to be Black in a society like the United States of America. Even though the major thing that was explored is racism, there's a concept of like heads that these stories are built around. So heads in terms of like the physical head and the mental aspect of, you know, head, the emotional, how racism messes with your head. So you know the way Samantha Schwablin's Little Eyes revolved around the Kentucky technological device, these short story collections revolve around the concept of head, and I really like that. So these are all of the short story collections I'll be recommending. I hope you get to pick some of them, all of them. I would love if you pick all of them, but and again, I'll also include videos where I've recommended some of my previously loved short story collections in the description box. And at the end of the month, I'll be back with more recommendations, because I will definitely be reading more short story collections before the month ends. I hope so. I hope I find time. If you have watched this video up until this point, comment the @ emoji. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you comment, like, and share this video with your friends, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.